I think there are. I mean, there are a number of separate issues here. One is that obviously I didn't really look at this artwork until after it had become broken.
Yes.
I mean, I saw it, but I hadn't really looked at it and tried to examine it. So at the moment, I've done a report based on the fact that it is now broken. So the description: painted ceramic plates upon arrival, patients in good condition. Unfortunately, at some point between the hours of 5 p.m. on the 1st of May, 2 p.m. on the 2nd of May, the patient suffered a fall and breakage. Circumstances of this incident / accident are under investigation, therefore no further comment can be made at this time. However, preliminary investigation has shown the breaks to be clean. There is, of course, almost a tradition of artists, Julian Schnabel, Richard Wentworth, who have made work that utilise this broken plate. Indeed, this will form the basis of a separate inquiry by me into the transformed status of this artwork. So I think there are two aspects of this. One is the bureaucratic one, kind of legal and sort of responsibility issues, which clearly we are obliged to report to the donor. We can't withhold this information. At the same time, I think that we need to make a decision as to whether we're going to discuss with him the basis on which I wish to proceed, which is that this is now a new artwork. As far as I'm concerned, this is now a different artwork for which a new docket, a separate account will need to be made.
I mean, I don't know if you're aware of the fact, obviously I bear some of the responsibility for this, but during my training, this is precisely the area I specialised in, and I'm kind of familiar with some of the more contemporary possibilities in this kind of, now obviously, a situation where I need to prove my work in some way, so I wouldn't want to go ahead at any point without support and your supervision.
What sort of thing are you talking about?
Well, I was involved in kind of dealing with a crisis amongst cubs. Some of these were broken in an act of God's.
Right.
So
this would be useful if you're willing to work in a kind of consultative role.
We used scanning and imaging technologies.
I remember now. Yeah. But this is good. But are you happy with that diagnosis that this is now, to all intents and purposes, it's now a new artwork? It has a transformed status in the same way that any artwork, in my view, that has been damaged or attacked in some way. The Rock of Venus, for example, was attacked by Mary Richardson, who was a suffragette, and had to be repaired. Arguably, it was therefore became a transformed artwork that had a new problem.
There was that Austrian artist as well who was very controversial. His work was frequently attacked.
That's right, yeah.
And this
Herman Hitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a guy in New York who threw white paint over Christmas Feely's Black Virgin. So there are lots of, I think, interesting. Was attacked. And although this one hasn't been attacked, it has pretty.
I say Duchamp's urinal. I mean Duchamp's fountain.
Yeah.
Obviously, without sufficient training, I cannot comment on these examples that you're giving. Am I right in thinking that this is a restorative operation? No time now will the patient become a plate again. We have a number of broken pieces of ceramic.
Yeah.
So it's transformed, as you say, but you will not be carrying out a restorative.
I think restoration is a possibility, actually. I think we might have to consider the possibility of restoring the artwork, because if for no other reason that may be what the donor requests. But even if that's not the case, then from an aesthetic or other viewpoint, it may be deemed necessary to do that.
I mean, my concern again is that
it will never be restored to its original condition. Clearly, that's because there are pieces there that we've been unable to claim because they're so tiny that we can't see them.
It seems to me there's an extra element of finality because of breakage. We now
Yes.
not only need to consider the surface, if you like, of the plate, we need to consider the material of the plate itself. So we have a sort of an extra formula.
I think that's. I think you're thinking the right way. I mean, when I look at this, I noticed how. Can I just a second? The brushwork has become now more evident because the plateness of it has been lost. You know, the shape of the plate, the conventional shape of the plate, has been lost. So other formal elements now. Sorry.
I mean, I don't want to raise this point too frequently, but has anyone asked the patients what they would like? We live in a customer-driven kind of landscape now, and typically patients ought to be asked.
I think
what they would like.
This is a problematic area.
They've done yesterday.
We as doctors or potentially doctors, we can't ask these patients. What we can do, I mean, insofar as they can't speak, they can't hear. So we can't ask them in that sense. We can't pose a question to them linguistically. It doesn't really make any sense to do that. However,
I don't know if we should treat them as objects.
No. What I'm saying is that they can be asked in a kind of metaphorical sense by, using the various kinds of skills that we have. But so instead of asking them, what we try to discern is what is it that they are telling us. So there's a shift in emphasis there. What is this plate telling us? What does it want now that it's broken? What does it want? Does it want to be put back together, or does it want to be as it is? As it is a kind of a collection of shards or fragments. So that's the question. It's not a case of asking it. It's a question of listening to what it has to say.
But it is carrying wounds, though. Wounds from its breakage. I mean, we discussed earlier whether we should remove the bandages.
Yeah.
The bandages are kind of, they are still attached.
Yeah.
But because they're attached, they might bring they might increase the trauma because they remind the place of its accident.
Yeah.
And again, he wants to suppress that. He wants to make sure that the patient addresses its trauma.
And also, the process of removing those bandages could itself be painful on some level. I mean, in the film I was watching yesterday, 2 Meals for Sarah, Clint Eastwood and Shirley MacLaine.
I've seen that, yeah. She wears this fantastic dress.
Yeah.
They cross.
Yeah. There's an arrow in the shoulder which she has to remove by slamming it through with a hammer. And at the same point that happens, he lights some gunpowder in a groove in the arrow, so that the gunpowder, as it passes through, will cauterize the wound. So maybe there's some way of removing these bandages which also kind of takes into account the possible increased trauma of that as an operation. I think all of these things have to be considered, but we mustn't make any. I don't think we can move on this today until we've until we've informed the donor.
Okay.
That seems to me to be a responsible response.
Well, I've suggested that he come for a consultation at 5:15 in the St. James's Tavern.
That's my kind of consultation.
As we're
language.
just one final little thing before we move on. I realize thinking about this patient. Can we open this?
Yeah.
We're asked not to operate. We're asked not to operate. The carer wanted us to diagnose, study Jane Eagles, but not no.
Okay. So was this already bent?
Oh yeah, I think this is how it came.
Okay.
So we were thinking of putting it in there, maybe doing it priority 4.
Yeah, I think so.
Next.
I'm concerned about this. I have to say, I'm not sure. I don't even want to touch that at the moment, just in case.
It's very delicate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll get on with it now.
Okay. You want to?
we need a, oh yeah, this is